So a few months ago, I reviewed the regular version of the Canon RF 85mm F1.2L USM lens, and it was a great lens and very sharp and everything, but to be honest, it's pretty hard to not make anything look good with 85 1.2. Even the name 85 1.2 sounds cool. Most photographers wet their pants when they hear 85 1.2, and they really wet their pants when they hear how much they cost. $2,700. But then a few months later, Canon released a lens that's identical to this one for $300 more, and they're calling it the DS version. And DS stands for defocus smoothing. So what this is they put some special coating around the lens elements, and it makes the defocused areas in your photos smoother. It doesn't soften the overall image, but it only softens the out of focus areas. Pretty interesting, but is that worth $300 more? Or since this is already so expensive, does the $300 difference not matter? So should you just get the DS version, or should you get both? We're gonna compare the lenses side by side, and I'll let you know what I think. When I started testing the lenses, I immediately noticed two things. First, the smoothing effect on the bokeh is quite noticeable right away. I mean, bokeh is obviously quite subjective, and it's not like we're comparing a 1.2 lens with a 1.8 lens, and they're both quite nice, but I think I do prefer the DS version's image. The blurred elements in the photos are bigger on the non-DS lens, but things seem to blend with each other more nicely on the DS lens, and they become less distracting. Take a look at the squares on the Rubik's Cube here and see how they change as I focus on the background. On the non-DS version, the squares become much harder to recognize, but there are some harsh lines that might feel a bit busy, but on the DS version, the blurriness is slightly subdued, but the hard edges on the squares become softer. Comparing the bokeh balls, the differences become more apparent. The non-DS balls are bigger and crisper, and the DS balls are smaller but softer. So just pick the balls based on your personal preference, but remember that the smaller, softer balls cost $300 more. And the second thing that I noticed when I started testing these lenses is the difference in light transmission. Shooting at 1.2, the DS version gets about 1.3 stops less exposure, resulting in darker photos and forcing me to increase the ISO or slowing down the shutter speed. In this photo, for example, you can see how much brighter the non-DS version's photo is when shot in the same settings. And to match the same exposure, you can shoot at ISO 250 instead of 640 like with the DS version. On the next photo, you can see I had to decrease my shutter speed from 1/500th of a second to 1/200th of a second on the DS version, because otherwise it would have been underexposed. This could be a good thing and a bad thing. If you shoot a lot of outdoor portraits during daytime, then this could act as your filter so you can keep your aperture wide open. But if you shoot a lot during nighttime, or at darker venues, or at weddings at some churches where you're not allowed to use flash, then the regular version might be better for you. Because in order to get the same shot, when you have to go up to ISO 25,600 with the DS lens, you can get the same shot with the non-DS lens at ISO 10,000, so that's going to play a huge effect on the overall image quality. As you stop it down, the differences in background blur and light transmission become less apparent, but I'm guessing you're not planning on getting a $3,000 prime lens to shoot at 2.8, right? So again, the choice is yours. The regular version is $300 cheaper and is probably more versatile in various situations, but the DS version does seem to offer more refined and unique looking images in my opinion. But will your clients care about that? Or even notice it? Probably not. I think it really just comes down to your own satisfaction as a photographer, not what's objectively better. So which one would I get? If it were my money, I would probably go with the regular version and perhaps rent the DS version whenever I feel like it. If I were a full-time portrait shooter, I'll probably go with the DS version, but since I'm not, I would probably just rent the DS version when I know I'm not going to be shooting in darker environments. In this price range, the $300 difference may not matter too much to people, but I really do like the images that I get from the DS lens, but the light transmission loss is actually a lot bigger than I thought it would be, so I'm not really sure. What do you guys think? Which one would you choose? Let me know in the comments down below, and thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye bye.